right. Well, would you look at that? We're live once again for the Midnight Mo podcast. So, as you can see, we're not doing anything special. It's right back to the usual. But this time, we're going to go for something a little different than usual. We're not having two topics in one stream today. We are doing one topic. And what that is insanity. You can also tell that there's no music this time. We thought that we would go ahead and see how you guys think for not having any sound in the background, just us, and we'll see what happens.
Stop trying to
This
sound
will all
professional. That is not what happened. What
what?
happened was we couldn't find music, and we said, "Fuck it, let's go without music."
What do you mean? No, we thought we would leave it up to everyone else.
Anyway,
But yes,
continue.
we are just going to have one big topic today. We are probably not going to stream for the 3 hours as usual, and the clip on YouTube will probably be about 2 hours, about 30 minutes longer than one podcast, which isn't bad in our opinion. But one, we couldn't really think of another topic, and two, we thought, why not?
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
yeah.
This will also probably become a common occurrence if we, one, just feel like it, or if we just can't think of anything.
Yeah. I don't know
Break the
about the whole
mold.
music thing. We'll figure it out. Like if we should consistently try to find music, but there's not like there's not that many copyright, like non-copyright music that really sounds good for podcasts out there. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so the topic for today is insanity, and I might add that before this podcast we went a little insane trying to think about topics. Swear to God, it was like 2 hours we were just like talking about the most random stuff that I can't talk about because I don't know how Twitch would like it. So
That makes it sound so bad.
Look,
That makes it sound so bad. When in reality,
we talked about cute dogs and cats. So
that is not true.
Anyway,
What we actually talked about was just like random things.
I'm gonna go insane listening to you. Anyway,
I'm gonna go insane from my heart palpitations over here from you making it sound like we just murdered someone.
It's the Midnight Mill podcast, but Storm and Zenith argues. We should do a podcast like that. Write that down.
Write that down.
Anyway, so this segment, we thought about we do a topic about insanity. It's just one of the topics that popped up in our heads. And I mean, a lot of the things come to mind with insanity. What we've talked about in other podcasts a lot recently is ever at the end of time, dementia, stuff like that. We did a whole podcast about, it was called Fading Memories, where we talked about forgetfulness, which is a huge part of, well, sorry. Thank you, Duke. Dementia isn't a huge part of insanity, but like dementia is like, it is insane. It is, you just have to listen to the track ever at the end of time. It's an experience, and I'm going to leave it at that because we talk about it literally every single podcast, I swear. So it's just interesting. It's nice. But a few things that come to mind is, I remember I was watching like a criminal episode, and there was this, it said what faking insanity looks like, something like that, right? Where this kid, he did a certain action that happens a lot in schools, that involves certain weapons, and he basically went into like interrogation and act like he was insane. He said it was the voices in his head, but actually, he ended up doing a TikTok right before he did it. He's like, "Hey, yo, guys, I'm about to fucking shoot up the school." So I think that might have.
Give me my TikTok clout.
It wouldn't have went so well in his case, but it's really interesting because you see there's a lot of people out there for some weird reason that fake being insane.
Exactly.
Whether that's like because they want people to help them, they want attention, or they want to get out of situations. But it's very interesting to see insane people trying to act insane, basically. Um,
The
yeah.
the interesting bit to me is the different forms of insanity that happen. Oh, wait, before we continue, uh, one, Zenith, go ahead and post that we're live on the
Oh,
Discord.
yeah.
And
I should
second,
do
speaking
that.
of Discord, we have a Discord server now.
You bitch.
Go check it out. It's in the link right now. If you click on it, you can hang out with the community. You'll also get posted when we are live, when a new video comes out. You can give suggestions on different topics you would like to hear, and all sorts of jazz. So, yeah, go ahead and stop on by the Discord and just have a good time. But back to the topic at hand. With insanity, like, there's so many different aspects of it. Like, not only do you just have the the social insanity, where you might not ever see people the same anymore,
Yeah, there's things that
or
break them.
you have your own inner insanity where you're afraid of your own mind.
Well, so you hear a lot of people say, a lot of people on the internet specifically that go, "Oh, I'm insane," or "Oh, if you really got to know me, like, it's just." There's people on the internet and they're weird, they're quirky, they're a little quirky. Um, but I've seen a lot of people that go, "No, I'm insane," right? But
Mhm.
by that like methodology, if everyone's insane, then no one's insane.
That's just the new norm.
That's the new sanity, which is oh, that reminds me. Have you ever seen those like shows where it's like, or like us, like me personally, I'm in the Undertale fandom, so things like Horror Tale, Axe Tale, stuff like that. But which no one would have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But uh,
Unless they're in part of the community.
that's a low chance. Um,
Look
I'd
at
be
our
su-
audience.
I'd be surprised, but um, but you've ever seen those like sci-fi movies where it's like in the near future and then everyone's all insane?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that it looks insane from the perspective that you're at, and it's like it is very entertaining to look at that, but at the same time it's like technically, logically speaking, that's not insanity.
Yeah, wouldn't that just like, because let's say, for example, you're like you said, you're watching like a movie where in the distant future everyone becomes insane. That didn't just instantly happen. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't just instantly become insane. No, what it was is they just, over time, everyone changed. That's not them becoming insane. That is just the world changing. It just looks insane from our perspective because that's not our norm.
Yeah. Uh-oh, I clicked a button.
What button did you click?
I don't know, I just heard the button, and I know that that the stream could hear it. God,
Yep.
I'm actually going insane not listening to music. I
That's
don't
why I
know.
put music on.
I don't know if I personally like it, because whatever I listen to comes through the audio of this stream.
Hmm.
Um, but here, what was it? Oh, speaking of Undertale, I was looking at I was scrolling through like Undertale songs that I saw on YouTube, and one of them was like uh demathophobia, something like that, which was basically the fear of insanity and like the fear of death. Let me look it up. Let me pull up a
What
definition
would
here.
that entail, though? Like,
Yeah, involves the fear of madness or insanity. No, yeah, so it's madness or insanity.
so wait, you fear going mad or you fear madness? Like,
People, yeah, people who have this fear are afraid that they are going insane or losing touch with reality. So they're afraid that they are going insane.
hmm.
Mm. Or they're
You know
basically
how
just like going insane.
difficult that would be to like cope with.
A lot of insane people have it. You see in movies, at least.
Hmm.
Um, Now you see all these things in the movies of like people being insane, but that begs the question. I'm like, what are insane people actually like? Which is why, which is why we actually had the idea of we might do and research some cases on insane people, see what it's like. I do know that in that same episode of I think it was like a YouTube channel, and I don't want to get this wrong. I really don't. Uh
Um,
what going insane looks like. Um, yeah, criminal psychology, JCS. But a lot of people have seen this video. Apparently, it has 55 million views. So, um, but it was basically mainly about this kid pretending to be insane. But they did show a case of some guy who actually is insane, which actually wasn't as like mind-boggling as you'd think, because like when there is a definition of insane and that has to play a fact in criminal law, then it's gonna be as like straight up and upfront as a law as it can be, because like
mhm.
it's not gonna be, because there's chances are that there's not actually like there's not as many insane people as there is sane people, so you're not going to see those kind of cases. But so the law is pretty broad. But basically, they brought in a person, and the definition of insane that they displayed is he killed somebody and displayed no emotion whatsoever towards it, like no empathy. Right? That would be defined as insane. He basically just like I don't know if they knew them or not, but he basically just up and took someone to the woods and killed someone because he felt like it. Like, yes, that's insanity, but at the same time, that is like, oh, okay. Like, it's not like a big thriller like you see in movies,
Yeah.
obviously. But that's
Like,
the real world.
is losing all of your emotions insane? It's like, is that a symptom of insanity, or is that something that can lead you to becoming insane?
Um,
It would make a lot of sense.
Losing emotions could be a symptom to insanity, but having loss of emotions isn't insanity.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people with PTSD, right? The they don't. There's a lot of people out there who shut down their emotions, and it's not like oh they're depressed, but there's a lot of like people with like PTSD stuff like that that do lose their emotions as their way to like shut themselves out, right? But that could include loss of empathy or like brain damage and stuff like that. That necessarily isn't considered insanity. Depends on what comes of it.
God, I've wanted to. I want to talk to someone that's clinically insane, but I want to have a conversation, like almost a podcast with them.
Yeah. A
You know?
Discord ping. I gotta turn myself on to do not disturb. Go on.
Yeah, you might want to do that. Wait, how did you get a Discord ping? You're on live.
It's what it, the streamer mode doesn't work all the time.
Mm. But like I want to get the introspections and like I want to get their thought process of insane people.
Yeah.
Like I want to know how much they differ from our standpoints of thinking to someone that's sane, at least. And like if they have like less of a grasp on mortality or anything of that sort. Like, do they not? Do they value their life more, or do they value their life less? You know what I mean?
Well, again, depends on the case.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Um, because there could be someone totally like clinically insane, and that might differ their morals, their perspective on life, but that doesn't mean every single insane person, like legally, clinically, whatever insane person, has different views on mortality.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's like a lot of cases, like someone being identified as clinically insane would have different views on mortality, because that might mean like loss of empathy or not being able to process death, right? Because it's a huge thing to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Speaking of which, we do this every time. It might just be a theme now, but the psychology behind animals, like, what's the definition of insane for them?
Rabies.
Yeah, because they're not in the right mindset, I guess.
Like rabies for them, I'm pretty sure is just instant primal. Like they're gonna die. I'm pretty sure. Don't they die from rabies?
I don't wait. What is rabies? No, I know what
I'm
rabies is, but like exact definition, what is rabies?
Do you want me to Google it?
I'm googling it
All right.
for you. What is rabies? Cause yeah, it's a disease. No, wait, no. What is rabies for animals? It's an infectious disease that affects the central nervous system in mammals. It's transmitted through saliva, a few days before death when the animal sheds the virus. So, no, because you could, if an animal. Oh, I'm so confused.
No,
Yeah,
but yeah, because there are a couple of animals out there that like can contract the rabies virus, but then don't
yeah,
die from it. They just spread it.
yeah, and they just get like, but that's the same thing of like saying, because you said like, I don't think insanity is rabies, but rabies is insanity, right?
Yeah,
Um, because that's like saying, oh, like the only way to be insane is to have mad cow disease.
or kuru.
What's kuru?
Kuru is the disease you get from eating someone.
Hmm.
It's something to do with the proteins in your body, but if you eat the, I think it's if you eat the flesh of a
Yeah.
person, then what it does is it for some reason our bodies just cannot process our own proteins
Yeah.
in the way of digestion. So what ends up happening is it affects your brain and
Mm.
it'll affect you. So it'll basically just effectively shut down your body.
Yeah, and that's
Like I
on
think
top of the fact that it's on your moral conscience that you just fucking ate somebody,
well, I mean, that's
which will
not.
like fuck with you like 100% more.
I guess depends, but like I think what it does is it shuts down your nervous system first, or like it slowly gives you like tremors. I think. Hold
Yeah.
on, I'm googling this. What are the symptoms of?
God,
Let's see.
the filling in between the pauses is just it's just silence. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Arm and leg pain, coordination problems that become severe, difficulty walking, headache, swallowing difficulty,
Ooh.
tremors, and muscle jerks. And those are just a
Yeah.
few. And I know there's way more after that.
It could affect your what's it because there's a lot of diseases that affect it. Is it your motor functions that fuck with your muscles? Um
Yeah.
yeah, but it's something like that where you're not able to control your muscles as well. So, yeah, that could definitely be a part of it.
But it like slowly takes over your body and causes like, as I just read, like a few of those things. But then all of those become severe. And then it just kills you. It just straight up kills you.
Yeah.
Just like mad cow disease. You get that by eating the cow's brain.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Well, I
But
mean,
then
it's just like how I'm assuming how their brain was developed. A certain substance in their brain just makes you go mad.
mhm. But like the weird part is like it's all chemicals. That's all it is. It's just straight up chemicals.
Yeah.
And the fact that like a couple of those, you accidentally mix those in a pot wrong, boom, you've just killed a human.
Well, it comes with anything.
Yeah. Too much of anything really.
Yeah. Oh, ow. My thigh just hurt all of a sudden. Um,
Like drugs.
yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of ways to deteriorate your brain. So I gotta stay healthy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Eat your greens.
Eat some carrots every once in a while.
Yeah.
Really just like a well balanced diet. Like a lot of people say like, oh, it keeps your body in check, but it also really does help your mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the thing that they like teach you in health classes, like the health triangle, and in order to help your physical health, you also do have to do your mental health first, and vice versa. Both help each other out.
Yep.
So
But it's like there's so many ways to prevent you from going insane, but you can never just prevent it.
yeah, you can't just like prevent dementia.
Like, I
You
don't want to be insane. Okay.
yeah,
No. You got to get lucky, I guess.
if there's a vaccine for dementia, yes, please. That is totally not how
I
that works, but like you know what I mean.
Mhm. I wonder if they're ever going to cure insanity. Like,
What Insanity is way too broad. That's like saying curing cancer.
No, that's pretty straightforward.
No, because there's so many different types of cancer,
I guess it's true.
but there's so many different types of insanity.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, okay, by saying cure insanity, you need a drug that not only cures coup, but also cures mad cow disease.
Mhm. What's
That's
one of the scariest forms of insanity to you?
scariest forms
Like, what's the scariest, like,
that I would have, or just seeing someone else have.
seeing someone else portray? Like a close relative, a loved one,
Uh,
anyone like that?
I still stand by dementia.
Really?
Like, uh, cause sure, if someone's completely lost themselves and oh no, okay, what's worse, right? Seeing someone go through dementia, losing literally all of their life in front of their eyes, or like having like your family member go insane and all of a sudden like your just dad comes home from work and he starts like bashing his head against the wall, right?
That one right there.
That's terrifying.
Because the thing is with dementia, they don't know they're losing. Well, they do, but it's like it's just foggy.
Yeah, it's kind of like just oh grandma, you know?
Yeah. Like they're like, oh, I wonder where my best friend from high school is. They're like, oh, they've been dead. Oh no, they haven't. I was just talking to him yesterday. Like they see it as normal, but that like them going insane and like coming home and just bashing their head in.
Yeah.
That's that is them instantly losing everything about them.
Ugh. There's
Like that
just
their body is not running off of them. It's running off of this isn't right. Boom, 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 boom.
oh yeah.
Like that would be absolutely horrifying to watch.
Now, like being insane from stress, I feel like is the most. I feel like that's the most damaging one. Like,
Mm.
not. It's not saying it's the most damaging one of. Sorry, it's the most damaging form of insanity. Like, if you get to that point where you're so stressed that you bash your head against the wall, that and you don't feel anything. Like, you don't feel like any sort of. There's no voice in your head that tells you not to do it. Right, that would be insanity, right? But if you get so stressed to the point where that voice disappears from stress, like that's scary. Because that means you've just that your mind's still technically healthy, but you've like lost it still. Oh
That means your brain is just running off of pure instinct, and that's for it to not run.
yeah,
Like that means you have gone through something so bad that even your own brain does not want it to be happening.
your instinct is just wrong,
Yeah.
and that's hard. That's hard to do.
Imagine existing with that.
I don't think you'd exist much longer. Like
Well, no.
but people talk about all the time, "Oh, I'm going to snap," right? But when I think of snapping, I think of like you have lost all morals. You
Yeah.
have lost what you think is like what you think is wrong is not wrong anymore. There is no wrong anymore. And you just do.
That right there is when you need to have a self-evaluation check. And also, if you are going through any traumatic event like that, I would definitely suggest you go get some help. If you have any thoughts of self-harm, please contact either any form of suicide hotline or anything of that matter.
Yeah.
And if you also notice any loved ones or anyone around you that's going through any serious issues, please contact the authorities and get the help they need. Because no one wants to see a loved one or a friend. Like even just someone you know. Imagine seeing that person that you knew for a while just all of a sudden stop talking, stop thinking. Like
You,
you don't
yeah.
want to see that offline just be offline forever.
Um
Like, ugh.
imagine, so the concept of everywhere at the end of time, if you haven't listened to it, um it's composed and it's like it's almost like a combination or a fusion of like you're going through dementia but you still have the outside perspective, right? Because it's impossible to actually like simulate that unless you're like changing the brain, but it's a pretty close representation. um what if dementia was like that, where like because there's a lot, I mean, there's a lot of like people that go through dementia that no, dementia is like that. No, there's a lot of cases with dementia I've heard where, you see basically the cases where they just get something wrong or they keep forgetting people and you just kind of go, "Oh, grandma," right? And you feel bad for them. And it hurts the people looking at them going through dementia than it actually hurts the dementia patient. But that's not all like what dementia patients are like. Um because I've heard of some like when listening to Ever at the End of Time, I've heard of some stories from my friends that, yeah, they were like they've heard of some people that like scream in the hospital bed, like dementia patients that scream their kids' names to not forget them.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like you're forgetting everything and you're just screaming out like all night your family members and what you want to keep in your head so it doesn't lose, like it doesn't part from you. That is, oh,
Unless by the time we become senile or like get to that point where we could start getting dementia, if my doctor diagnoses me with dementia, it's like, what do you do?
pull the plug,
Like,
doc. That's what I'm doing. Oh,
I don't know if that's what I would do.
I would. I I I would not go throughout my entire life and just be diagnosed with the disease saying, "Yep, you're going to lose it all and you're going to watch it crash and burn right in front of you." Nope, no sir, not doing that. I'm not going to forget everything I've ever done in my life. Everything that was important and close to me, not forgetting. That is not an option for me, sir. Your
I'd give,
memory is everything.
I'd give myself a week.
Oh yeah, a week, because you get developed with like you get diagnosed with stage 0 dementia. Like, sure, a week will be fine, but I just,
It's once
uh,
I know, it's like, and that's the crazy part too. It's like, do they remember that they were diagnosed with dementia?
that means you're too far in it.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you forget that you were diagnosed with dementia, that means you were. That is not something you forget. I mean,
It?
to be fair, I have met someone with autism. And like I'm interested in psychology and like I met a person on VRChat and they like you when you have seen a lot of, I was about to say autistic patients, like I'm a doctor. Like when you see a lot of people have autism, um you tend to like pick up on things they do because it autism affects the social aspect of the brain a lot,
Mhm.
and like social anxiety and motor skills and speech and all of that. Um, just depends. But like you tend to notice a pattern. And I met someone. I thought he was pretty cool. Talked to him for a week, and I'm like, not to sound defensive, but do you have autism? That's such a hard question to ask because you don't want to sound like an absolute asshole. Because if they don't,
Yeah.
because some people think that means I'm calling them dumb, and I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. Like genuinely, I'm interested in the psychology, and I want to know. Um, but no, he was like, I don't remember. And I'm like, what?
Oof.
He's like, I think my parents said something about it, but I don't remember. I'm
I've
like, ooh,
you just said you said that's something you would never forget,
yeah.
but I feel like it's something that's so traumatizing that your brain doesn't allow you to remember.
Yeah. It just depends on the case.
Yeah. And this is and the funny thing is, oh, I say funny, but the more like the scary thing is that this is just one case of insanity, and it's not even classified as insanity.
No, I would.
I would classify it as, but it
Um,
just,
look it up.
I just,
You can look
what
up
are some?
what is clinically what is the definition of clinically insane. Look it up.
All right,
Because there has to be some like doctor, legal, whatever definition of you are insane. But I feel like
I
empathy might have to do a big part of it. Loss of a certain aspect of the brain.
let's see. What is the definition of insanity? The state of being serious mentally. Okay, no. I know this. I know this.
What deters you as clinically insane?
Insanity, mental illness such a severe nature that a person cannot distinguish fantasy from reality.
That's a whole other side.
But
Like,
yeah, insanity is just too broad.
yeah, it is. That I think again, the cure for insanity is it's like saying a cure for cancer.
But I mean, there's so many things that layer to insanity.
Yeah. Um
So I don't know.
I guess when a lot of people think of insanity, because this is not really what I thought, because I thought of a lot of like real world cases that I've seen and that I can relate my brain to. But I guess when a lot of people think of insanity and they haven't really seen much of it on like stuff like Pyro from TF2,
Something like that.
something like that, where like they're like they're in a world zone and they're fantasizing about unicorns, right?
Yeah.
And they feel like they're I mean they're
Oh
literally in one,
yeah.
but they feel like they're going through a pyromaniac. That's another one.
For like the people that have taken bath salts and then think that the guy that they're killing is some like demon. Demons. Bath salts are weird.
What's a bath salt?
Look it up. It's a drug. Well, bath. You can buy them.
What?
So,
Like legally?
thanks. Bath salts for bath. Yeah, you can buy them at Walmart.
Oh, yeah, no, like no, cuz I was like I knew what a like salt for bath is, but I thought like bath salt was like a street name, you know? Oh. Will this get us taken down?
I have no idea.
Like how lenient?
Let's
'Cause
stay
this
safe,
isn't
I guess.
that bad. If it's for, let's say it's for educational purposes.
Yeah.
It is. It is. We're talking about psychology and philosophy. So this is for educational purposes only, and we do not condone anything. We should put warnings in front of our
We
podcasts.
should.
We should definitely do this in
In
front of
the
this one.
in the description.
No. You
In
have
the
to put it in the video.
in the video. All right.
Um. Yeah, but this is explicit content if you haven't already
Yes.
guessed by now. Um. But
Wait
I
a minute.
mean,
Hold on.
pyromania isn't under the definition of insanity, and I don't really relate it to. But that's a case where it's like one part of like not necessarily one part of your brain isn't functioning, but one part of like your morals just went wrong. Something there.
Yeah.
Something just didn't click.
Just
Obsessions.
you could become obsessed with something, like so obsessed that you just takes over your life.
I mean, you can also think of that as you can like change around the words a little bit in the definition of like, say you're overly obsessed with something that like it starts becoming reality, right? All of a sudden that definition changes to fantasy, like your fantasy becomes a reality, right? Insanity. You can't tell the difference, right? So I mean, you can come to the point where you're that obsessed with someone, something, an object, maybe you constantly see it, right? Like a dead relative, you start constantly seeing them. Not saying that spirits don't exist, just saying this like there's a case with people out there that um that some people get so obsessed with something that they start seeing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
To I guess it's the brain trying to cope. So it says like, "Hey, shut the fuck up. I'm giving you what you want." Um
What about people with like multiple personality disorder?
I don't that's
Do you
just
think
I feel like that's just like a trauma. Like I feel like it's more of a coping trauma kind of thing, rather than
that could
insanity.
drive you insane though?
It can
Severe cases of it, but
like kind of like alter egos. I feel like those are two different things. DID and alter egos. I'm pretty sure.
mhm.
Because DID ranges from usually it's around 10 personalities. If you sorry,
10.
yeah, There's a
Really?
whole thing on it. Look it up.
I need to do my research. Is what I need to
Yeah.
do.
If you don't know what DID is, it's dissociative identity disorder, originally called multi-personality disorder, where you go through a trauma and basically your brain splits off into personalities. This is real shit right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You have probably heard it from all of those kids thinking that, or all those like 12-year-olds, either on VR chat, most likely our demographic, and then just other kids saying like, "I have DID" or "I'm part of a system." That
yeah.
usually pertains to them being like, "Oh, I."
Isn't this a little controversial, Storm?
It's a bit controversial, but these are the outliers, and we said we were going to talk about the
Yeah.
outliers. There are a bunch of people out there that will fake it just for the attention, and what they'll do is they'll just go, "I'm, I don't know, Kyle now."
Yeah.
Like 1 minute I could be Jackson, the next I could be Kyle.
Not saying, again, this isn't saying that like stuff like DID, alter egos, whatnot, all of that doesn't exist. Just saying that like you probably want to get a diagnosis first before you
Yeah,
start doing any crazy shit, bringing attention to yourself. Because quite honestly, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people with DID out there that like they don't want people to know. Like
yeah.
that's a thing that's like, hey, like I feel like I'll be made fun of for this,
And
which
then not
is
only that, but then there's those people that genuinely suffer from it.
yeah.
But then they say that they have it because it's prevalent in their life and it affects their day-to-day life. And then
Hmm.
people are just like, quit lying.
Yeah. So
Because
that
there's so
sucks.
many people out there that fake it.
I would like to talk about the psychology of that. This is why I never, whenever you hear the word attention seeker, um, like I never like immediately jump on their ass for being a terrible person. I always, I always try to see their side because 90% of the time when people seek attention, they're like, they went through some trauma, they went through something, and they have a terrible home life, something like that. And they need, like, they want attention in a certain way. And this is the only way they've learned how to do it. And the method works. Right. So like a common case is like, when, like you see a lot of middle schoolers being depressed, right? It's kind of like they've well, for one, puberty, but for two, when you go through this kind of stuff and you dig yourself in a hole and you get attention for it, basically, right? You there's a whole
You then crave
crowd,
that.
yeah. There's a whole crowd watching you dig yourself in a hole, and you're like, wow, there's people watching. Let me dig myself further. Um, and it's a subconscious thing, really. It's but it's I mean that's what a lot of people go through, and it's still a terrible thing, and that's why I never get mad at people for having those kind of opinions because I feel like they just haven't gone through the same experiences I have. So I mean that's about it really. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about DID. I would recommend if you want to learn about it. Um I did watch Anthony Padilla's interviewing like people with DID, or it's probably
Ooh, I need to
MPD
watch
at the
that.
time. Um, so it's like a 40-minute video of
Did
of
you say
him.
Anthony Padilla?
Yeah, it's Anthony Padilla, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Wait,
calling
is
him
that his
Padilla.
channel name?
I don't know. He calls himself Anthony Padilla.
That's
So
right. I miss Smosh. Sorry, that's
yeah,
a side tangent. We might get on that later. I don't know.
yeah. But I feel like depending on how bad that is, I wouldn't really couple that in my mind as insanity because there's a lot of cases where it's just people go through trauma, it splits off a coping mechanism, and that's that. Um,
It just the it's the outliers and the people that use it as a way to get attention that just infuriates me.
you know, there's a lot there's been a lot of cases with the ID where they get like also they develop dementia as well.
Hmm.
Where
Yeah.
it's a different case of dementia. It's not like what's it called? I don't know, ongoing dementia where it basically gets worse and worse. Um, it's like
Isn't it like when they switch into their other
yeah,
personality, they remember small things, and it's kind of like they zone out.
yeah. But I don't know if I've talked about this before, but did I talk about the guy like driving to the store with the ID?
No.
So I think this was again on Anthony Padilla, but like there was this guy who like he would drive to the store. It'd be like an hour drive. And all of a sudden he would get to the store, he'd switch personalities, not know where he is, scared, afraid, so he would go home, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he'd switch back and remember what he was doing, drive back to the store, and he would go like a whole entire night driving to the store back and forth. That's pretty insane.
That's terrifying.
I'd say right there, that's the point where you've lost it.
Hmm.
But that's still not like clinically insane.
No.
Because
You just have severe.
reality.
At that point, you're not even classified with insanity. You're classified with intense or severe DID.
Yeah, I mean that's all that is. It's just again terrible to watch, and I I pray for people who have to suffer with that. It's terrible.
And it just keep going back to it. But the people that fake it, like this is what you're making fun of.
Yeah,
This is what you are pretending to have.
there's a
When there are
noticeable
genuine.
difference between like the actual.
Oh
People.
yeah, there's a big stark difference, but it still doesn't lighten the fact that there are people out there that will be like, I have DID. Sorry for switching.
Yeah.
Like usually, I don't know. I hear a lot of people that'll be like, I'm part of a system, and then usually what I've noticed is that they'll use things like, I'm a part of a system, or uh my other personalities are characters from video games or
Yeah, I never
franchises.
understood that, and I don't. I'm not gonna say it's not a real thing. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
Yeah,
Um,
like
Typically DID has to do with early childhood trauma, where you split into alter versions of yourself, and typically patients with DID, like not all they don't have names for them all the time. Um, so it might just be literally like it might just feel like aggressive mood swings sometimes, honestly. I'd
hmm
assume so. Because it's just different versions of yourself that your brain switches in between. Um, whether triggered or not, it's still there. And but not everyone has names for them. But sometimes when it's more prominent, you're able to develop names for them and figure it out yourself. But it's still just like I don't think that's how that works. Not gonna say it's not how that works, but I'm pretty sure you don't develop video game characters in your head. I feel like at that
uh,
point you should go to a mental hospital. I'm seeing video game characters. Uh,
oh, this is no laughing matters in it.
I'm seeing
These are-
Mario Doc. He's going whoa.
uh,
I'm so sorry, Storm. You just had a long top of this is like, this is terrible how people make fun of it, and I
I'm
screwed
Mega
it all up.
Man.
No, again, I'm making just to be clear, I'm making fun of the people who fake it.
Fake
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
I do
And
feel.
by the
really
way, we
bad.
are not doctors,
No,
so
we're children.
we do not. Yes,
We're
we do
quite the
not.
opposite.
These are just our assumptions, and if we are wrong at any point, please, we both really, really want to be educated in any way.
Yeah, please be that
More.
nerd on the comment. I really
Yes,
appreciate it, and that's not
please.
sarcasm.
Like genuinely, we really, or at least I do, and I'm pretty sure you would want to as well.
Yeah.
I'm super fascinated by this. And this isn't for me to like poke fun or make fun of the people that have it. No, it's more for I want to know for the best ways to help, either that or just a way to understand.
Knowledge.
I find it, yeah, it's so interesting. In a bad way, it's very interesting to me.
Horrifying, but interesting.
Yeah. And so if you know anything about it, or if you have it yourself, please leave your situations down in the comments, or join our Discord and tell us about there more.
Tell us your story in the comments below.
Yes, please. We who knows, we might read it and tell it again if you would like it to, or like
Yeah.
us to.
If
Never
you're okay
know.
with
Just gotta comment down.
it.
Join the Discord.
Man.
But back to the topic at hand. I don't know, like that is one case, or that is like one part that could lead to insanity out of hundreds, maybe even thousands of different things that could just add up to lead you to being a completely different person in the regard of either willing to hurt other people, losing all senses of reality, and just fading.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like dementia has to be under some sort of definition of insanity. Depends on the case, right? Where you have such bad dementia that you go insane.
What are the
Um,
symptoms of insanity? Because it's not like what are the
I love the
because
segment.
there's gotta be some symptoms whenever you are diagnosed with
Mm.
insanity. Okay.
Here's an interesting thought to bring up while you're doing that. So I'm watching The Punisher, and they're I mean they're right. It's some guy who went through like wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, right? And basically his whole entire family got murdered, and he's going after all three gangs that, or he went after all three gangs that murdered his family,
Mm-hmm.
and like that includes the cartel. Man took down the cartel himself. Um,
Jesus.
this is not a real story. It's just a but um the like it says in the show that patterns, humans need patterns, right? The loss of patterns in someone's life is like a very quick and easy road to insanity.
I was about to say you lose all repetition in your life, and I feel like you just don't
So one-way ticket to insane town.
like because a lot. I feel like here it is a lot of people will use the example of like, oh, pave a road for yourself. Whenever you think of a road, you would usually think of either straight or windy road that leads you from point A to point B. But when you just lose all of that and it becomes a road to a railroad track to a dirt path to a hole in the ground
So you
to
don't even
then
know
like
if you're on a road or not.
yeah to it just gone, just stops existing. What do you do? Like, and this is if you were to visualize it. My thoughts of insanity is like the road now is a roller coaster that becomes a loop de loop and then instantly switches to like a plane. Now you're in a mine cart underground. Like it's where you have no conceivable structure, and it seems like you're going forwards, then backwards again. But
To
there's no sense of direction. There's no sense of up, down, left, right.
yeah.
So then you're lost. You just it is changing in front of you. By the way, I have found some things that come with some of the illnesses that come with insanity. So,
Symptoms.
yep. Extreme mood swings, changes, highs and lows, withdrawal
Yep.
from friends and activities, significant tiredness, low energy or problem sleeping, detachment from reality, paranoia or hallucinations. Some of
Well,
the others are fear or extreme guilt, chronic sadness or irritability, obsession with certain thoughts, people, things,
we were right about
confused.
obsession.
Yep, confused thinking or problems with,
Confusion.
yeah. Oh, confused, like just confused about certain aspects of life and whatnot. Like
Yep.
just can't think of problems. Detachment from reality. Yep. Inability to cope with daily problems in a healthy manner.
Yeah. Well, so a lot of those mood and emotional problems have to do with the loss of pattern recognition.
Hmm.
And I'm really surprised that like loss of empathy isn't on there.
Yeah. I bet you that's
Well,
a cause that happens afterwards.
yeah, but that's not I I guess that is when you think loss of empathy, well, me. Like having the loss of empathy is being insane, but there's so many cases of insanity that has to not deal with loss of empathy that they don't put that there, right? like dementia doesn't make you lose empathy. Well, actually, I mean, if you think about it, like it doesn't make you lose empathy in the way like you had it and then it was gone, but it's more of the people like you don't recognize like the people around you anymore, so your empathy might change about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in that sense it is like that, but that's not like something you'd put as a symptom because that's quite obvious. If you don't recognize the person, you're not going to feel the same way about them.
Yeah, of course.
So,
But like, just some of those right there were stuff we've already mentioned. Well, because kind of common sense, I guess. But yeah, going back to the whole no pattern in life, one of the best things one of the things that I do to keep myself with patterns is to just kind of reflect on your day. Like, doing something as simple as that can help you stay mentally healthy.
yeah.
And that's what I do. I'll sit down in my room, and some people have different ways of doing it, either talking through a counselor or just talking with a friend. But I would suggest that if you are needing some way of feedback for yourself, it allows you to evaluate how you've been doing during the day and how the decisions you've made have went. But just sit down, turn on some music, play a video game that's kind of calming, and then just reflect on who you hung out with that day, what you said, what you didn't say. Just run through all the things you did during the day and say to yourself if you did some things differently that you thought you should have done, or if you didn't. It just allows you to stay consistent through your days, and so that way you can evaluate it at the end of the year, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, to say whether or not you've done what you would say is you. It allows you to stay human, you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not to say like when someone asks you how your day and it's just either good or bad, actually give a like give a little like, well, this happened. Think about like the events that lead up to why that day was good or bad. Like that's evaluating. Don't just go, it was good.
Yeah.
Like
Like, that's just,
have a little assessment.
yeah. Just taking that little bit of time out your day will do a lot of good. And if you don't, then you could lead to some issues. At least from my experiences. If I don't do it, I'll just, I don't know. I get bad social anxiety.
Really?
Yeah. Like, if I don't
Yeah.
do it,
Well,
but that's because my sense of social structure, that's my whole life.
here's a crazy thought. If you have a messy room, doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna have social issues. Like not like, oh, like you're gonna have like overall social issues. It's gonna, if you were to have a messy room, it's gonna affect your social life in a more negative way than it would if you were to have a clean room.
Why so?
It affects your mental health. If you
That's true.
it feels like you're always cramped and crowded constantly, right? And specifically for me at least, I spend a lot of time in my room. So if the
Mm-hmm.
one place I see is crowded with just junk, then I feel I'm not in the right headspace. So if you just feel crowded and like your life isn't clear at the moment, clean your room.
Mm-hmm. It does a lot of good.
Yeah.
And,
Good.
and if you, and I mean, but that's not to say that like, if you have a room that you consider clean, that it's clean.
Yeah.
But it's once it starts affecting your daily life, or it's just like I don't like how my room is right now. Because, like, for me, what it usually is for me is my desk gets dirty. Like, if I just forget
Yeah.
to take down my cans or something, and then it starts piling up, then I'm like, I feel like I can't use my mouse, and it makes you feel claustrophobic.
Yeah, if I start just getting stressed when I walk in my room, I'm gonna fucking quit.
Yeah.
It gets bad. Like the trash is like my trash can has like It has room in it. It does. But there's still trash lined up at the bottom of it.
I feel like one day you walk into your room, you go, "Ugh!" and then you just instantly like start like running and cleaning things up.
I'm not like a germaphobe or anything, but like I appreciate like a room you can walk in.
Yeah. Oh,
We talk about insanity. Now we're talking about cleaning rooms. Like it applies.
it does. Your safe haven or your safe space really shouldn't be too messy. Whenever you think of your own brain, whenever you're in your own internal monologue, what do you think of? I'm gonna start asking people that question.
What is
Like,
your internal monologue?
yeah, what do you sit in your mind
In your mindal cavity?
yeah, what do you sit? Where are you in your own head?
Where are you right now? I'm at soup.
What do you mean you're at soup?
I mean, I'm at soup.
Well, can you come here for a second? I can't. I'm buying clothes. We should get back to talking. I just could remember there's no music.
Yeah. What?
All right. There's no music.
Sorry, I just spaced out.
I know you did.
Spacing out is interesting. I don't know how much that has to do with insanity, but like that's an interesting thing. So to get to the point where you're so deep in thought to the point where your ears just stop working, like that's interesting.
Ooh.
Your senses start to shut off so you can focus more on your thought. But that also is to say, like that's how your brain works with senses. Is like, you know how you see a lot of like blind or deaf people have, well, a lot of blind people you see, like it's documented that they have a chance of having enhanced like hearing and smell and taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's kind of how the body works, right? Is if you're trying to focus on something far away, then like you're not going to be able to focus on like auditory, right? Your ears just kind of stop working. But if you're trying to listen to something, your eyes just go out of focus.
You know what could drive someone insane?
What?
A ringing.
Isn't that just called tinnitus?
Yep. A lot of people go insane from tinnitus.
Really?
I think. Makes sense.
Clinically?
I think so.
Huh.
Let's see. Let's Google. This is our third member. I'm joined by my co-host, another co-host, Google.
Yes.
Can you go insane from...
Click.
Wait, can you hear my keyboard?
Yes, I commented on it like 3 times already.
My gain should be down.
Doesn't matter.
Tinnitus can affect job performance, result in insomnia.
Insomnia. Interesting. Well, it makes sense, but
The executive director of the Better Hearing Institute wrote in 2011 report accompanying a survey on tinnitus sufferers, it can contribute to psychological disorders such as depression, suicide, post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
Wow, I did not think tinnitus could do that, but okay. Yeah. Tinnitus. It's not fun. I have it. A lot of people have it.
Well, think about it, right? Have you ever seen a movie where some guy has PTSD and he's having war flashbacks and all of a sudden his tinnitus gets louder?
It's because of stress. Stress makes your tinnitus worse.
Why is that?
I don't know. Hold on, let me Google that. Why does
searching for insanity.
Yeah. Tinnitus worse. Wow, that was the first result. Just like your body's fight or flight mode, when you encounter a genuine threat, tinnitus can trigger the same physical and emotional reaction. This makes it very difficult to contribute or to concentrate or relax when you are stressed and
Hmm.
have tinnitus.
Well, that's you getting
Yeah.
stress from tinnitus, but why does tinnitus increase due to your stress?
Whoa.
What?
Can stress cause tinnitus to worsen? Why does stress cause tinnitus? Here we go. Frequently, patients report that tinnitus began at a time when they were feeling anxiety. When they were feeling
It can
anxiety. S-
develop from stress?
Yeah.
What?
Since tinnitus itself can also be a source of stress, some patients experience wait
Hmm.
feelings of despair, stress, or worsening tinnitus. As the stress and anxiety gets worse, so does the tinnitus.
Interesting.
Yeah,
No,
and
I know what you're talking about because yeah, people again with people with PTSD, I know for a fact that
well, they
whenever
also
they
have tinnitus from the war and
yeah,
just
no, 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 no,
loud
no, no, no.
noises.
This is not like I'm not gonna relate to this to war or anything. But when you do go through trauma, and when people do go through flashbacks due to their like PTSD, right? Um, Going through those flashbacks, you do hear a loud ringing noise.
Yeah, it's because of your stress. Is that the visual representation of stress or
What
the
is it?
audible representation of stress?
What is it? Tinnitus?
Tinnitus, ringing.
Yeah,
That's your brain's audio representation of stress.
that is true. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, me neither. Not till just now.
Yeah, because like every time you think like again in movies when you're so stressed and like when the main character or the character that it's focusing on is very stressed and then they're like Adam, 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 and his tinnitus is growing louder and then like all of a sudden goes huh, right, and he responds to it because he's like so stressed that he's tuning them out with their tinnitus.
Yeah, there's just so much that my tinnitus has gotten super bad from stress, so that's why
Mm.
I'll constantly try to stay um de-stressed. That's why I
Yeah.
usually take my mental evaluation checks. It's just because it can get bad. It's gotten so loud it drowns out my fan.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's why I keep my fan on, is because it usually drowns it out.
that's interesting. That's
So
so weird.
whenever it sucks when the power goes out,
And
because when the
there's no
power goes
fan.
out, but that's not the thing. Is there's nothing. There's no PC buzz. Like my PC doesn't have that hum
I've never heard my
anymore,
PC buzz.
or
Like
not buzz, but it
yeah, no,
hums
I know
because
what
the
you're
fans.
talking about. I know what you're talking about, but like, I can't hear it from here. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, it's usually when my fan's off.
Yeah, that's
But like
probably it.
whenever if the power goes out and there's no noise, I either have to continue talking or make sure that my phone and my earbuds are charged. Because if not, I'm gonna go insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Can silence like I know silence can make you go insane. So it's okay. It's interesting. Um, you know how have you seen the quietest room in the world?
yeah,
And people always talk about, oh, this will make you go insane in minutes. But then you always see a YouTuber who like walks in there prepared, obviously, and they just walk in there, sit in there for an hour, and just leave.
it could have. If they were to stay in there for longer than that, it would have some serious side effects.
Like 24 hours.
Because because they did the study of what would end up happening if you were to stay in there for that long.
Yeah.
It would cause senses of paranoia. It would cause senses of
Oh, I'm sure if you were to stay in there for 24 hours, you would easily lose the conceptualization of time,
oh yeah.
which is a pattern.
Uh, it's like if you were to stay in a room with no windows and one light that stays on 24/7, you would instantly lose track of time. You'd start going mad. If you
Mhm.
watch Vsauce's video on that, his first episode
Yeah.
of Minefield,
Minefield.
his first episode is him staying in a room for what, 4 days
Go
straight?
watch that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that one's very interesting. Have you noticed that we keep relating to that, or we keep referring people to that?
I
We've
feel like
referred
this
them
is
like
an
3
issue
times.
where we refer people to like no. I feel like it's an issue that we've watched the same psychological stuff. Uh,
But yeah, like, but there is a way to help with your tinnitus, and that's through meditation. My dad tried it, or did it,
I was starting that
and
would be terrible.
oh yeah. But my dad started meditating, and it helped him. His tinnitus is almost gone.
Hmm. Really?
But if he's stressed, then it kind of comes back. But with just a few minutes of meditation a day, it'll help with your tinnitus.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm starting to meditate.
I recommend meditation. I know it sounds so dumb, and like you're like, oh, I've sat in a room for an hour in silence. I'm like, that is not meditation.
It's the exact
Um,
opposite.
no, it's like Smiling Mind. I really appreciate that like that app, but still, like take 5 minutes out of your day to take like a guided meditation app like Smiling Mind, and I mean, it's quite honestly like you just focus on something for 3 minutes and all of a sudden your conscious is just cleared like and it's not like and I hear a lot of people go, oh, I can't do that, my brain always like tries to focus on something else, but that's literally a part of meditation. Like you trying to focus on something else, you have like you acknowledging that is a part of meditation. it-
Dude, last night I started meditation, right?
yeah.
Well, oh my god, I remember very vividly. Right before I fell asleep, I put it on, I'm just gonna listen for
You
like
fell
5-10
asleep.
minutes. No, not with it on.
Oh.
But for like 5-10 minutes before I went to sleep, I was like, you know what, let's try this. And so I put it on,
Mm-hmm.
and I lay there with it on, and they say, now, if you're not already, lay on your back, sit down, and let's begin.
Yep.
And then they say, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now, I want you to envision opening your mind and just forcing all of your stress out. And then they said this while you're breathing out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it works. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. I was like, this is really nice. I felt so unstressed.
uh, it does that.
It's
See, there's an issue with me. I have restless leg syndrome,
so
and
like, oh, it
it's terrible.
sucks.
Cause we're trying to go for the doctor for it, but we keep on like procrastinating, and it's like I've dealt with it my whole life, so it's not really an issue. But staying still is like I constantly move my legs, like my chair, and I make sure like I literally. This is so weird. I have two mouses because of my restless legs. You know how that works? Is um when I sit upright and use my keyboard and mouse at the same time, I use my wired mouse. But I actually have a wireless mouse on the left side of my desk so I can bring it to my chair with my left hand. Like I use a mouse left-handed
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. And that's so I can constantly switch positions so I can move my legs.
Huh.
But like while I'm trying to meditate, there keeps like my legs keep like tingling and I have to move them. But like I try not to, right? Because I'm trying to focus on like meditating. But it's like,
Yeah.
you moving your legs and meditating at the same time, like out of rhythm as well, it just doesn't help. But it's so annoying. That's why I keep on not meditating, is because of my restless legs. Is I have them all the time. Except like what I've ended up doing is when I fall asleep on my stomach in a certain position to the point where it stretches out my legs, so that my legs feel relaxed and I just fall asleep.
Huh.
Or also raising, like having my legs on an elevated platform also works.
I just don't have restless leg syndrome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why. Like I've had it my whole life, so I'm like, how do you not understand this, right? But
And so I feel with tinnitus, bro. I've had it since the 3rd grade.
yeah.
So I thought it was normal. Whenever I remember one of my friends had gotten tinnitus, but it was really late.
Yeah.
Wait,
What?
speaking of, my ears are ringing and I can't hear.
You can't hear?
I can,
Maybe we
but
should
very
stop talking about it because
quietly.
we're focusing on it.
I think it's that, but I'll be fine. Ugh. It's just very annoying because it's like it sounds muffled. But
Yeah.
either way, they were. I think it had to have been 8th grade or freshman year. They were like, "Bro, I'm gonna go mad," and I go, "Why?" And they go, "Dude, my ears are ringing, and I can hear it." And I go, "Oh, that's tinnitus." And they go, "What? That's what?" I go, "That's tinnitus." And they go, "No, I can't have tinnitus." I'm like, "It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
You
I've had
little-
it since 3rd grade."
Yeah.
Does not mean undermine tinnitus, but that definitely y'all laugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's restless leg syndrome is so like it's so apparently so odd to describe because I'm like it feels like I have to move my legs all the time and if I don't they'll twitch, right? And they're like, "Oh, so like your brain's telling your legs to move." I'm like, "No, it's a conscious decision." But like if I don't do it, they won't necessarily do it on their own, but I'll be kind of forced to, but not by my brain, right? Um,
Yeah, that sounds kind of confusing.
yeah, like my legs just kind of shoot out, right? Um, but at the same time, it is kind of like a tingly sensation, like spiders are crawling up your leg constantly. Um, but it's more physical than anything. Um,
Do you think they could drive you insane? Your restless legs?
depends on what I'm
If they
doing.
were so, if they were so bad?
I mean, I've just always dealt with it.
Yeah,
On
that's true.
planes, it's the worst, man.
Ooh, I bet.
Cause I'm never comfortable. Planes just make it. This is the true definition of insanity right here. Plane seats are just. I don't know how they structured it, but they just made it uncomfortable on person. Like, how the hell is a classroom seat more like comfortable than a plane seat?
I don't know, bro.
It's just you have no room for your legs. Ugh.
Bro, oh, I hate flying for only one reason. The pressure changes. My ears are really sensitive to pressure,
Mm.
and it kind of sucks. Like
Oh yeah, I know what you're
the
talking
pressure in my ears will change when going down the road downtown. That's how sensitive they are.
about. Ooh, yeah. I used to, I mean, I used to go to the mountains a lot in Colorado, so
Yeah, so you probably have some experience with that.
yeah.
I feel like we should go back to disorders and traumas for going insane.
We should do a podcast about trauma. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down.
All right, I will do that. Traumas. That one would be interesting.
I got added to a random group in Discord by named, and I said, you know what, you're writing it in the wrong section, Storm. That's our DMs.
What? No, it's not.
I just got added to a random ass group chat with one of my friends to be named, and all of a sudden, like I was like, huh, this is weird. You should go watch our podcast. We're live.
Self promotion is the best.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hey, if any of you are watching on YouTube and Twitch, you know what you should do? You should go like on
Join the Discord.
Yeah, well, first of all, you could join the Discord, but you should also promote us for us so that we don't have to keep doing it. Okay, well, I don't mind like where we're at right now. It's just like I have fun promoting, honestly. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Because it's so stupid. It's like a very unfunny inside joke.
And not many people don't get mad, or many people don't get mad at us. So that's even
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I seen it.
so quirky.
What
What were we talking about?
another big part of insanity is focus.
Oh yeah.
And well, I don't like it. Kind of correlates with pattern recognition, but it doesn't. It's not like direct correlation with pattern recognition. But focus. Fidget spinners, those little pop things on TikTok. That I like. What do they say they're used for? ADHD.
Yeah.
That's another thing. People faking ADHD, bro.
Oh my god.
It's so sad.
Anybody faking any disorder is just so dumb. Grow up, please.
Actually, like, I don't think they realize that that makes you farther down in the world than up. It
Yeah.
like that's a thing you don't want to have.
Like they make it seem like it's like the people like you know how it moved on from people like wanting glasses? It's now people wanting disorders.
Wanting glasses. I can't imagine that. Why would you want glasses?
Right? That's what I thought for the longest time. And that's what
Insane.
they think until they get glasses. Because they get glasses and then, oh, they sucks. What? That's what it is for me.
I'm trying to get contacts.
I'm getting contacts next time I go to the eye
We'll
doctor.
try. Well, yeah, we'll look into it, but I don't think I can immediately, right?
Man, dude. So
Teach me
I
how
was
to
supposed to
touch my eye.
go. I was supposed to go to the eye doctors
Mhm.
this Friday. Or this past Friday. Today. Oh, well, I
But-
got COVID.
Yeah, same here.
And now my whole family got COVID.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're not going today.
You just message trauma.
Bruh.
Yeah, but focus. It
Something
now-
we don't have that much of.
that is so true. A lot of people lose focus. It's a natural part of humans. Let me try to dive into the psychology of why it's good to lose focus. I feel like that's a little bit of an interesting rant I can go on for like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, think about it. Like we lose focus for a reason. Like for one, I feel like the main reason we lose focus is because like I don't think humans are just capable of focusing on one thing all the time. But it's also unhealthy to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you only focus on one thing the entire time, that's insanity, bro. Focus on like breaking down a wall and you do it for 2 days straight, right? That's
Ugh.
just you're doing something wrong. But it's I mean I'm sure there's many reasons why it's good to lose focus. It's natural. People do it every second, quite literally.
When you
Um,
aren't losing focus is I feel when someone should intervene.
yeah.
Unless is there a difference between focusing and zoning out? Because what if you focus on nothing?
Well, no, yeah,
Is
no,
that
no,
just
no.
zoning
Zoning
out?
out is focusing on something.
What's that focusing on?
Like, I don't know. When I zone out, I'm like basically I say something and then I have a whole entire psychological and philosophical rant of that inside my head while you're talking about whatever you're talking about. That's me zoning out. But I mean, a lot of people again, you see a lot of cases with people with ADD and ADHD where they zone out. Like zoning out is like practically a symptom, right? And you hear reports of people with ADD and ADHD where it's impossible for them to think of nothing, right? They're constantly thinking of something all the time. So zoning out doesn't necessarily mean you're thinking of something. That just means you're thinking of something off topic, so you're not able to focus on the conversation at hand.
Yeah.
That was a lot of words.
It was.
But thanks.
Oh, I
it's so
I have a
interesting.
question.
Go on.
What do you think of when you hear insane?
Didn't we just
We-
covered that at the beginning of the
No,
podcast?
I don't think we did, or if we did, I don't remember.
I was like the first thing I thought of was dementia because it's been so prevalent in our conversations recently.
That's true.
I'm using really big words.
Are we?
I am.
I do that a lot.
Well, I do that naturally, but still, it's like I'm almost like doing it on purpose. I want to sound smart, guys.
I just do it because it's now my vocabulary, and it
That's-
fits.
It's so weird how I deter like. There's a little. I shift accents, and it's so subtle that only I pick it up. It's a part of
Yeah, I
doing
was about
like,
to say I don't
constant
hear
voice
it.
impressions. You can.
No, I don't.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I mean.
But anyway, focus. Something really interesting that I think about all the time with focus is I feel as if it's almost like humans have to multitask. Have you ever heard the statement of it's impossible to multitask because it's your brain constantly switching between two things?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't follow by that statement.
Yeah,
Right
me
now,
neither.
I'm talking and I'm spinning a fidget spinner. I'm not switching between those two things in my brain. When you pick up an object, your fingers are moving in different directions to grasp that object, right?
There are times when you grab something and you don't know you're grabbing something.
Yeah, exactly. You could be thinking about totally something different and you accidentally take a sip of water. Like
Yeah.
you swallow
You
your toothpaste. I don't know.
you accidentally go to the cabinet with the plates instead of the cups.
Exactly. Right. But you can think and walk. That is multitasking, isn't it?
You,
Talking and
you can
walking.
you can do you can think, type, walk, talk at the same time,
Yeah.
which is moving your fingers, using all of your brain motors. You're using all of your motor functions at that one given point in time.
Basically.
Like the epitome of multitasking is being able to type on your phone, talk at the same time, and walk.
Now, I feel like with multitasking
How
this
does this relate to insanity?
focusing. We're
Oh,
talking
that's
about
right. I
focusing
keep forgetting the
insanity.
main part of this.
Yeah, it's totally not bad to go on these rants, but at the same time, focusing could be an entire different podcast.
It could.
And we always that's how we form ideas sometimes. Is like we do a podcast, we're like we talk about like 5 minutes about one little subject, and we're like, we could do a podcast about that. Write that down, write that down.
Write that down. Write that down. And now we're actually doing that. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually writing stuff down now. Hold on, I just paused the whoops. All right, we're good. Go on.
Well, it's actually you the one who was talking.
Was it? I forgot. Uh,
Stay focused, and stay focused.
God. It's not even funny. It's not even a joke. What are we doing?
I
I think I'm going insane, Storm.
think I'm going insane.
We do this every time. Every time we
We
do a
do.
podcast, like we do a podcast about fears or like fear of memories, anything like that, and we're like, I'm forgetting, Storm. I'm forgetting. It's
I'm going mad. I'm going insane. I'm going mad.
Speaking of going mad, we would be really good at sponsors. Speaking of going mad,
Oh my god, we would.
what was it? Mercury in Place? Everyone's heard of that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait, it wasn't mercury. It was lead.
Lead. Yes.
Back in the ancient Roman times, I think. Was it Roman?
Well, no, we used to have like lead and pencils, didn't we? That's why
We
it's
still
called
have
fucking pencil lead.
Yeah. Did you just say we used to? Because we still do.
No, it's graphite. Always.
Oh,
It's
that's
been
true.
graphite for a while. I'm sure it
Okay.
has small amounts of lead, but not enough where you eat it, you'll go insane.
But the story was back in very long time ago days, they thought tomatoes killed people
Yeah.
because they kept putting tomatoes on
It
their
wasn't
plates.
very
that
long
were-
time ago, because didn't someone try to assassinate? Wait, who did they try to assassinate?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, though.
let me. This will look really good on my search tree. Search history. Who did they try to assassinate with a tomato?
Speaking while you're doing that, but they believed that tomatoes were poisonous because
George Washington, right? Yeah, it was some
They-
president. It was George Washington.
They kept trying to put lead on their plates because they thought it did good or whatever. I think it's in their paint. Either one.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is because the tomatoes are kind of like sponges, they absorb whatever's on the plate. Well, the tomatoes absorb the lead, so whenever they would eat the tomato, they would get lead poisoning and then just die.
Yeah.
And so for a very long time, they thought tomatoes were causing people to die, when in
Yeah.
fact it was the plates they were putting all of their food on.
But it's really funny because some guy, it was like George Washington's chef or something, tried to assassinate George Washington by putting tomato in his soup.
Yep. Did you also know that early or like really old China, or I say really old, but I think it's like before World War I, some China that has certain paint in it has small or some quite big amounts of radiation in them
Mm.
because they use plutonium.
Heard of that.
This is a real thing. So you might want to be careful with what kind of brightly colored china you have in your home because it could be radioactive.
Yeah, I've heard of that on the news because people are, yeah.
Yeah, they I can't remember what they used in the paint.
I have two
I'm
thoughts on my mind.
What are your two thoughts?
Symptoms, because I remember something about lead poisoning makes you insane. Symptoms of lead poisoning. Because symptom.
Sorry,
No,
I still can't get over.
Now the FBI thinks I have lead poisoning. No.
Sorry, I still cannot get over the whole tinnitus can literally cause you to like die.
Yeah. Developmental delay, learning disabilities, irritability, loss of appetite, weight. Okay, no. So this is literally just called fucking poison. I swear to God, I thought lead poisoning made you insane. Doesn't lead poisoning make you crazy? Does lead poisoning make you crazy? Can lead poisoning make you crazy? In chapter about leading what? In a chapter about lead in his engrossing 2003 book, A Short History of Nearly Everything, the bestseller author. Okay, what? Okay. In its most acute form of lead poisoning produces abrupt and terrifying hallucinations.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I was right.
See, one of the things that I hope I never go through are hallucinations.
Oh, imagine that. Specifically, like hallucinations of dead relatives too.
Right. No, that I feel like I could deal with. If it was just them,
Isn't
if it was just them,
schizophrenia?
Schizophrenia?
Isn't that psychosis?
I think so.
Or is it like one's psychosis versus schizophrenia? Can I see the image? Psychosis, an episode where one is detached from reality. Schizophrenia, a mental illness that impacts the thought process, emotions, and behavior.
I was literally just about to say we should have a disorders podcast, but that's what this is.
Psychosis consists of hallucinations, delusion, agitation, disorganized thoughts and behavior. And schizophrenia has delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, lessened emotional expression, and catatonic behavior. So it's around the same. I mean,
Yeah.
a symptom. Okay. Yeah. So psychosis, you see, is like sleep deprivation, stuff like that. The symptoms are these both fall under the symptoms of what you read of insanity: detachment from reality, sleep deprivation, hallucinations.
What is the detachment from reality? What is that?
You can't. So when you have a thought, like you kind of like you go through like a thought process in your head, and you like imagine a story in your head.
Yeah.
Not being able to tell that from reality,
Or
or something like you watch a movie and you can't and going through that in your head, you can't tell if it's real or not. I don't know. But kind of like Pyro, right? I feel like that's the only example I can relay onto you. Is Pyro from TF2, where he imagines his world zone is full of unicorns and rainbows. It's kind of like an extreme made-up case of it, but
detachment from reality sounds super
sounds
not
like a
fake.
title for a VR podcast.
It does.
We should have used that.
Oh, we should have.
Too late. The VR market and the virtual experience are really good titles. Speaking of which, you guys should go check those out. Those
You
are
guys
pretty
should go
good podcasts.
check those out. Yeah, that's our first special right there.
Yeah, we did a VR chat special where we hopped in VR chat. That's
We
why it's
did, we
called the
did, we
VR chat
did.
special.
Why
Anyways,
they're both VR
insanity.
related.
Yeah, they are.
We are not insane. What do you mean? Look at our podcast.
Would you answer the voices in your head?
No.
You said you said that like you answered a question.
What do you
He's
mean?
on to me.
Shut up. He's not on to us.
I have a funny joke that I can't say. I
Don't
gotta save it. Hold on. I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down.
message it to me, and I'll giggle about it, and they'll be
No,
like, "What's going
it takes an
on?"
explanation. Hold on a minute. I need to. I'll tell you it later.
But what was I gonna say? Um, I keep forgetting. We kind of can't go quiet because it's just nothing. There's no
Yeah.
music or anything. I feel like we're gonna have to do that at some point.
An instant gateway to tune out.
Yeah. Mm,
I written it down. Go on. You were not saying. Go on.
exactly. Could you imagine, like, this is a hypothetical situation. One morning, you just wake up. You wake up, you go downstairs, you start talking to your parents. You know, you sit down, have like a 5-minute conversation. You go to the bathroom, you walk out, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Search the house, no one's there. Nothing exists of them in that house anymore. What do you do?
Now,
Whoops.
I feel like that's the definition of detachment from reality, because like kind of like how like like dementia works, right? And how I feel like that's a definition, like that can be a subcategory under insanity, because of the fact that, like, imagine that you said, like, you got home from school, you said hi to your dad, he said, how was your day? You said good. You walked in again, like, you used the bathroom, you walk out, he's gone. You check the house, you look around, turns out your dad left 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's detachment from reality.
That's what I feel like sends you to insanity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like these are symptoms of insanity. These are the things that lead to insanity. You know what I mean?
No, I feel like you're pretty insane if you saw your dad.
See, it's really, oh my God. Have you heard those stories of people that'll say, like, they've felt like they have talked to relatives way before their time?
Yeah.
Like, have you heard those stories?
Yeah.
That's so incredibly insane. That's freaky. It's awful.
Oh, and it's this. When I was, like, really young, I was, like, interested in, like, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of people talking about their past lives and if that existed, right? Why is this shit I do as a kid, by the way? Like, I should be, like, playing with my, like, what's it called? Hot Wheels, not searching up the past lives to question mortality.
Now I know where you got it from.
Yeah, so I was down a YouTube rabbit hole of people talking about their past lives, and basically, this guy, this guy, like, all of a sudden, like, I think he might have been hit by a car or something. I don't remember, but I remember he was talking about how he walked in a bar, and he's like, does, like, Jimmy still work here? And then, like, the bartender said, he died like 90 years ago, right? And he walked up to, like, a part of the bar, like, that had wallpaper on it, and he's like, I remember a chimney, like a fireplace being here. And he tore down the wallpaper and there was a fireplace, right?
Ugh.
And it's like, and he remembers, and there was like other stories that people remember, like, parts of their, like, it's probably in dreams or something. I don't know how they get this information, but they remember stuff like they died by being hit by a car, or they remember their girlfriend being chased with, like, a shotgun or something. I don't remember, but they remember all these past lives before they die, and they, like, go and see other people and they talk about, like, their past life. It's crazy. I don't know, but you don't know if those stories are made up because you weren't there for it.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
I hope I never go insane.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anyone wants to go insane.
Generally speaking, no one wants to, unless you're, like, 12 years old and in a middle school.
and you think it's cool,
Yeah, it's
and you
not cool.
and then you say that you see dead people.
It is. Ooh.
We suggest
Hour
you do not
38.
do this.
No. Don't. I've just been repeating the words you've saying, but like,
I see trees of blue, red. Oh my god.
nice.
Oh wait, does this say OP on burritos?
Yeah, that's what I read.
What is O? You mean OD or OP?
Opinion on burritos.
Oh, I really like burritos. You know, a
I don't
lot
like
of
them as much
people.
as tacos.
Yeah, I like tacos better, if I'm being honest.
I don't know, something about the burritos that just isn't as good as tacos. I don't know why. You could have the same exact stuff in it. It feels like burritos are like the way they're formatted. I don't like it. It's too
Right?
too much at
Yeah.
once in your mouth. I'm hungry now.
I had pizza, so I'm not that hungry. Let's
Well,
see here. Let me see. I feel like we've kind of milked this one dry.
that's so funny. That's hilarious. Quite comical, actually. That's really funny.
I knew you were gonna say that.
uh,
Um,
um, have any closing thoughts? I guess.
we got 20 minutes. We can push it
Yeah,
to an hour.
2 hours. You mean?
Milked. Ja.
Yeah, basically, this is where all the viewers have already clicked off. I'm gonna go insane
Yet,
from the loss of our viewer count because of you, Storm.
yet it just kind of seems like Phoenix just got here.
Yeah, that is true. That's so true. That's so true.
It's been at 3 views for the past like here.
Now, you see, like,
This is why
can
we need music.
repetition make you insane as well?
Yeah.
So it's like loss of pattern and repetition both can make you insane. Loss of focus and focusing on too much both can make you insane. Too much, if anything, will make you insane, really. But like,
Mm.
oh. Now it's so weird because I feel like the easiest thing to do is to repeat a pattern because naturally humans like patterns. So it's kind of hard to just lose all patterns, right? So an easier way to go. Let's talk about how to go insane. An easier way to go insane would like to create a pattern and constantly repeat it, right? Not like
Just do the exact same thing every single day.
no, not like brushing your teeth in the morning every day like a normal functioning human being. But I mean like never do anything else but that one
Yeah.
task. Like constantly hitting a hammer against one wall. I don't feel like that'll make you insane. I feel like that means you've already gone insane. And
Yeah, balance is what you need.
yeah,
Like
maintain.
people say like, "Oh, I wish there was never any randomness in my life. I wish it was always just I knew what I was going to get and that's it." You
No.
really do not want that. You really don't want that. The moment you lose that random chance is that moment when you can't exist anymore.
Ugh.
Cuz it's just like that randomness kind of keeps you going
Yeah.
cuz you don't know what you're going to expect from that day.
Get
Y-
excited.
Yeah, you get excited.
Or
Imagine a
sad.
world. Imagine a world where you knew everything that was gonna happen.
Might as well not live at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what death is. Think about it. Like from a non-religious perspective, from a there is no afterlife perspective, right? Not saying there isn't, but what I'm saying is if death is what we've seen and what it's drawn out to be, then that means when you die, everything goes black.
Yeah.
And that's it. Nothing. Period. End of statement. Like, but when you repeat the same exact thing, molecule by molecule, you might as well be dead.
Honestly. Bruh. But
That begs the whole simulation question. Are we in a simulation? I've seen.
see
Oh,
if
that's another thing.
if
People
I were
talking
gonna make
about.
myself go insane, the way I would do it is sit in a room all
Yeah.
day with no human interaction but windows that look out to just white.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Like I
even
have,
worse.
yeah.
Oh,
I want a normal room, not my room. I want a
just a
small-ish
box,
living room. Yeah, I want a box with a couch,
not
a
even a
blanket.
rectangle.
Yeah. I want a couch with a blanket, a TV, a CRT TV, and then a room with quite a few windows, like 4, maybe 5 windows that just lead out to white. That's what I would want to do if I were going to go insane.
Yeah, we were talking about the room that like cuts off all sound. Um,
Hmm?
that I mean, we're talking about the symptoms of being in that room for a prolonged amount of time, like hours, right? Um, but that's the loss of pattern recognition. Is there's you just you start to notice everything again. That's the two contributing factors to already have been insane or going insane is focus, either loss of focus or focus on one thing too much, or loss of pattern recognition or too much of one pattern, right? But I feel like, well, to be fair, loss of pattern recognition of loss of focus literally fits under the category of lost touch of reality because I feel like that's all like our brain equates reality to is pattern recognition and focus.
Hmm.
We could do a whole podcast about that.
We could.
And actually, I have an idea. I have an idea. You know what we could have done?
What?
That could have been our second podcast today, but we're already too far into it
Oh yeah.
to do an intermission. So
Um, I don't know. Going back to the scariest part
yeah,
about
it's a sound
insane.
depressing room. Yeah, you're right.
Like the scariest thing for me would just be seeing someone just lose it. Just lose everything. Cuz whenever you think of people, you think of you think of their traits, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like for Zenith right now. I whenever I think of him, I think of a funny,
Monkey.
cunning man that's really smart, that loves monkeys,
Yeah, it's the
and
most important
that
part.
I know they can just have a really good time,
Keep
right?
talking good about me. Go on.
The guy that I do the podcast with.
uh,
But just imagine I just one day I just get into a call with him. He's completely different. He sounds completely different. He acts completely different. We get on VR chat. He sits completely different.
yeah.
Like that's terrifying. And
The
if one
loss of
day
pattern
some
recognition.
yeah, that loss of pattern recognition not only affects you, but that affects them as well. Like it affected them so much that it drove them insane, of course.
Yeah.
But it might drive you insane if the people recognition, if the people's pattern recognition changes, you yourself could go insane.
Jesus. That's what we need. Um, Reminds me of like, remember when we talked about we had the podcast of the fear of people,
Mhm.
disfiguration, stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's another thing is seeing again from the Mandela's kind of like the alternates, seeing one of your closest friends be completely different, like still even though they might not have any mental or sorry they might not have any physical disfigurations, but when they have mental disfigurations it's even worse, quite honestly.
that's I think that's scarier.
Yeah. um
One of the worst things that I feel like you could do, and this is a hypothetical situation, is like if one day you let's say your friend is dead,
yeah.
they call you.
Oh, I
Imagine
yeah.
that. I accidentally called my nanny one time.
Yeah.
I accidentally called my grandmother who died last year. Do you know how horrifying you know how horrified I was?
Yeah.
I was upset and horrified. I was like, "Do not answer that damn phone." That was the big thing I was scared of.
Yeah. That
But
that's so
it instantly
terrifying.
went to voicemail, which
Why
was a little
why
creepy
is
as
that
well,
so terrifying?
because you know they don't exist anymore.
Just the
The fact that
impossible just unleashed.
yeah, It's because then your mortality's questioned. It's because
Yeah.
like whenever, at least for me, whenever I see your profile picture, whenever I see Zenith, whenever I see it call me, I'm like, there's a person behind that,
Yeah.
right? There's a person behind this screen, or I'm thinking that this little green orb, it exists in front of me. I can see it. So whenever I consciously know that they can no longer do anything to interact with me, but then it does,
Oh, like when dolls move.
yeah. When
Not.
something you know has no existence,
Yeah.
no cognitive thought, and it does something, that's a bit freaky. That would drive me mad.
I wanna read what Yuvi said. When something you believe shouldn't be able to happen happens, you begin to question what is happening and what you have been left out of. Ugh,
Yeah,
that's wordy.
but it's very true. Ugh.
Yeah, that's what it. Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Well, it's just you've seen it so much, and
Yeah, you've just grown numb of it. But like, you don't see a dead person move, so when you see a dead person move, oh,
no, not at all.
it's like when you, it's like I
That
think
shit
that's
gives you
what's scary.
PTSD. That shit
It
gives you
does,
PTSD. It makes you insane.
dude. I'm telling you, if you ever die and you call me, I'm joining you on being dead because my soul has left my body.
I have a story here real quick.
Uh-huh.
Not saying a name, but I remember that I a friend was so high one time. They were just so like out of it that they started seeing like dead people.
Oh
No,
god.
this particular person, when they were a baby, um, when they were a baby, their great grandma, they're dead, right? And basically, they would tell whenever an object would move in their room, they would tell their mom, they're like, "Oh, great grandma moved it," right? And because it's so normal to like the child, because the child has no sense of death, mortality. They were just born, right? And so and they would say, and they would like basically like on the baby cam, that child would like talk to nothing, right? They would
Yeah.
they would talk to this is what makes them believe in ghosts to this day, is because of the stories they've heard when they were a baby, right? Is they would talk to the air, and then their mom would walk in and they'd just go, who are you talking to? And they would go, oh, great grandma.
Just
That's
like what?
what? Yeah. But yeah, so they were they were so high one time that that they started seeing dead people and they freaked the hell out. Um
Yeah,
Basically,
I wonder why.
yeah, they were like they started seeing like a live dead. Imagine how like vivid of a hallucination that could be, right? Oh,
Oh my god.
it's terrifying.
Like they portray that in horror movies when it comes to like oh, you're being called from the dead.
The ringtone story, which one? I have a lot of fear of ringtones. The one where it kept on looping and it got progressively louder. Which ringtone story are you talking about? Yeah. Um. Oh, so I have a fear of technology, and
Really?
I have a fear of glitches and crashes. Well, the fear developed originally because when I was younger, um, I was playing. We don't have to cut this off at exactly 2 hours. That's just our
No.
around mark. But
Yeah.
I I was playing Mario Bros 3 on the Wii in my basement, and basically the game started glitching out, and like I was in the level select menu. I didn't really get far in the game because I was a kid and I was scrolling like through like the first levels. All of a sudden it glitches out and crashes, and as it crashes, um the a light falls in the room next to me,
and
Oh
like
no.
I hear like one of my parents scream, right? So all of that correlation just makes me have the fear of technology. Like every time something glitches, I have this eerie feeling. Every time my PC crashes, makes that loud sound, right? Um,
Oh
there's been too
damn.
many direct correlation. Like sometimes when I still had an office computer, as like my main computer, um, sometimes it would crash. Like I'd be watching a YouTube video and they'd be in the middle of
Oh.
talking, and when it crashed, it repeated what no, it stopped on that sound and it got like really loud, right?
Ooh.
Um, but basically, so the cell phone story,
All
that
right.
they were
Take care,
talking
Phoenix.
about. What?
He's leaving. Goodbye.
With this story, I leave now because my friend is back from the toilet. That's nice. Have fun. um, so with that cell phone story, you was talking about, basically, we still have like home phones around the house for some reason. I think we got rid of them, but home phones sometimes like bug out, right? And there's no one should really call you on your home phone because everyone knows you by your phone number now. That's just the day and age we're in. And
Yeah.
but occasionally I would get calls from like maybe my dad's work or something that's still tied to the home phone, right?
Hmm.
So it would I don't remember what it said, but it was like call phone, Brent, right? Boop, boop, call phone, Brent. And I'm like, that's annoying. But what I usually do is I wait for them to pass along because when someone rings you, it eventually passes along and it stops ringing you, right?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. Basically what happened was it just went call phone, Brent, call phone, Brent, call phone, Brent, call phone, Brent. It got it started getting louder and louder, and me having like I have certain like issues with my senses, right? So
Yeah.
like I couldn't focus, right? So I started getting scared because of that correlation with the fear of technology. So I run up to my mom's room and I was like, "Hey, this my phone's really bugging out and I'm too scared to go in my room because it's like genuinely creeping me out." Right? And she's like, "Okay." So we go down to my room and it's not saying that anymore. What it's saying is it's like it was this really high ass pitched sound, and it was terrifying. Like it got so loud that it couldn't make noise anymore. It
Oh
was
my
it
god.
it was just but my I mean, like, it really hurt our ears. So my mom just ran over to the phone and just unplugged it.
Oh my god.
But like that's such a weird ass bug. But it was
That ain't no
terrifying because it got
that ain't no
progressively
bug.
louder, like the phone was yelling at me.
You gotta pick up that damn phone then.
But
Dude,
I
I
felt I felt
would
like someone from the dead was like yelling at me. That's what it felt like.
it's horrifying.
Yeah. But anytime I have like a glitch and crash, like when a light falls, like for some reason humans immediately relate it to ghosts.
Yeah,
Um, but we did. Why didn't we just do a podcast about the paranormal, man? Uh,
we should.
I think we already have
Did we?
this
No, we didn't.
podcast.
This doesn't count. We've only talked about it for like 10 minutes.
We did for a while, like hallucinations and dead people. It's been a little bit.
Mm, yeah, but we can go into more specific at
Um,
some point.
you should
Write
write
that
that
down, write
down.
that down.
You should write that down.
I'm doing that right now.
Um, but what was it? Like for some reason, every time like a light falls in a room, people directly correlate it with insanity. Or sorry, with dead people. Because I remember my close friend Jason, they sweared that their um condo was haunted because they lived in an apartment at a point, and they swore that their apartment was haunted. And one day it was like 3 a.m. and they heard a noise, and all of a sudden like their chandelier fell.
Hmm.
And it's like for some reason like it directly correlates with dead people, but that light falling and the game crashing at the same time just like made me correlate game crashing with dead people.
Hmm.
So it's terrifying.
I'd, I
Just
would
brings strong unease.
understandable. I just, for me, I've had so many. I see so many, but I've had a few experiences. I don't want to go back to my Nanny and Papa's house.
Why? Because of
Cause
dead?
yeah,
Uh,
Nanny's
yeah.
dead. I have no reason to go back. My
Well,
Papa
that's
moved
very
out.
blunt.
He's in town now. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's blunt, but it's like, yeah, it would be nostalgic, but at the same time, man, like that house is
Yeah.
already kind of freaky.
Imagine walking through that house with Everywhere at the End of Time playing through your ears.
What do you mean?
Like, you walk into that house while playing Everywhere at the End of Time on your phone.
Oh yeah. No, I'm saying, what do you mean?
Like,
Why
that'd
is
be
that a thought you
terrifying.
have in your head? Because that's never happening. It's not. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if that were happening, that's because I'm trying to go insane.
Yeah. That's how I do it.
That is how you
Dead
do it.
people like almost directly correlate with insanity. I swear to God. You see anybody dead that like anybody alive that should be dead. Now imagine like here's a possibility. It happens numerous of times. I'm not saying that it's common. I'm just saying it's happened before where someone's been legally documented as dead. Either like documents have been changed by the government, like or something, um, they just thought they genuinely thought they were dead, right? And then they just walk in their family's house. You know, they just walk back and they're like, "Hey, I'm here. I didn't actually die." Like, imagine how scary that would be, because that's
Dude.
possible.
Yeah.
You thought your dad was dead. He comes back a month later and he just walks in your house. You're still in the middle of mourning, dude.
Oh, it's even scarier going to their funeral, them being in that casket. You walk home, they're sitting in their couch.
Well, that means you've gone insane.
What?
That means you've gone insane. Want to watch the football? Football? Why do I talk about dads first? I feel like it's because it has to relate with like people like people's dads dying in war and stuff like that. Um, just a lot of common cases
I don't know how
where
I'm
it
gonna
happened like that.
handle like my friends dying.
Never happened before.
Nope.
Hmm.
Well, yay, but no.
But like very close friends.
Yeah, not close friends.
I mean, statistically, like you meet up with one random person in the world. Statistically, what is the chance that they're going to die? Like, especially when you're a kid, right?
Yeah. But
So
like none of my like close friends have died. So like I wonder what's gonna happen when my best friends die.
yeah, you'd have to be pretty old, statistically speaking.
Yeah, unless they just die from something crazy happening.
Uh, I love how I constantly use the words just statistically speaking.
Sound like a nerd.
Statistically, logistically, just saying, hypothetically.
I use hypothetically a lot, mainly because it gets rid of what if.
Yep.
Because no one likes what if, and so I made my teacher really mad one time. They're like, I don't like what ifs in this classroom, and so I was like, okay, hypothetically speaking, and they instantly lost it. I don't know why, but they just, oh,
I made my. That's a great thumbnail. That's a great
what?
title. I made my teacher insane by saying hypothetically speaking. Uh.
Write that down. Write that down.
I that's insane is commonly used for the word yeah, sorry. The word insane is commonly used for like obviously less severe cases just cuz it's like part of our like day-to-day vocabulary. But like
When you really think about it,
it's used a
no,
lot.
ugh, like we've been talking about it for the past 2 hours now, but like it's genuinely terrifying seeing someone's brain go from them being able to have a day-to-day interaction, but then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, it's usually a period of time where they just lose all
Hold
their
on, give me a
functions.
second. Welcome Meow to 50 to our Twitch. If you don't already know, I'll name these people in the chat, but they're most likely bots. We got
Never mind. You could read them.
What?
Shanuela, Feet, Ellison, or Ellison, and Asser Sis. I don't know. A service top. Yes, there we go. A surface top? A service top. Oh, it's Alistair. Yeah.
Hi, Alistair.
welcome. If you don't already know, if there is actually viewers in chat that for some reason haven't followed, we have a YouTube. Go subscribe to that too.
We have a Discord.
Yeah, we have a YouTube. We got a Discord.
And I
Tune
think
in.
with that, with you shouting these things out, I think we're kind of coming towards our end of today's podcast.
Yeah. I would like people to tell us in the comments below. Give us reviews on. Do you like the what's your recommendation? Do you like the no music podcasts? Do you like when we do one long segment per week, or do you like when we split it up into 2 weeks? Do you feel like the split between the two topics in the week like makes it feel like we're just repeating the same thing twice in a week? Or what's your opinion? But yeah, with that, that has been me and Storm for the Midnight Mo podcast. I hope you enjoyed this one episode for this week, and I will catch you guys next time on the next Midnight Milk ride, I guess. See ya.
See ya.
What an awkward silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.